Everybody, and welcome to this in the morning. 15 minutes to change your life. Bosi Lagani of the Rebbe. This share is sponsored in honor of happy birthday to Chaya Mushka Bas Reitzka Naomi. She vanished with brachas, gashes, ruchnis, and maflim. We want to thank you for sponsoring and for a full shleima from Mer Gedalia Ben Chana Leah. Okay, today we have to ice Zion. We're nearly finished. Hashem, by Wednesday, I think we'll finish. We'll finish it on. We'll see how we go on Yud Shvat, soon after. So we were discussing last week how we brought down all these stories of obviously self and the Rebbeim. The idea was to show us how the Rebbeim gave us the koyach to do what needs to be done to bring Mashiach. Because you're going to come and say to yourself, "Hey, listen, I know who I am, but like not shaykh. Like for me, bring Mashiach. You know who I am. You know what I've done. You know my lifestyle. Like it doesn't make any sense." Us, Chassidim back in the day, Chassidim Alter Rebbe, or refined people. It says, kind of, I think it was a Shul Munkus. He one time ate tobacco instead of coffee, and he didn't even realize. And they asked him, "How'd you not taste it?" Because I haven't tasted in 13 years. That's a guy you can understand. You're gonna bring Mashiach. The Alter Rebbe's daughter, she gave up her life for the Alter Rebbe so they could have more years of the Alter Rebbe. These people, like I get that Mashiach can come because of them, but for us, we look at ourselves and we say to ourselves, "No, it's not. What does it mean?" So he said, "No. The fact of the matter is, with our Shvi, we can do it, and we have stories of the Rebbeim having obviously soul." Not because they want to show off, but because they want us to realize that they gave us the ability, and whatever they ask us to do, they're doing themselves. We must appreciate that they're doing it, and they want us to do it, and we can do it. And what does it take? That's what we're going to discuss today. Through doing the iskafia, what we talked about, and the ishapcha and the transformation to shtus to kedusha. So you're taking the, if you think about it this way. An animal is way stronger than us. You try to fight an animal, you try to fight an ox. It's you don't have much chance of doing anything. But when you take that ox and you harness its energy, then it can plow your field. Could you plow the field? Imagine putting the yoke on yourself and walking on the field trying to plow it. Imagine running instead of using a horse. You say, "You know what? I'm not going to use a horse. I'm going to run myself." How far could you get before you're finished? Nowhere. Whereas we take the horse and you get you ride on its back, you take it very, very far. And this is the point. You take those things in our life that are animalistic, but we have to recognize how we can transform it into a positive thing and use that positivity. Like a person who's good with music, they can use it to play nigunim or to get people closer to Yiddishkeit or to make people happy, or you can use it to just boost his ego and other things, whatever it is. So we have to recognize whatever it is, how we can do that and take it and use it out. That's the point. Not just to use it out, and that's the transformation of it. First of all, making sure you're not doing it for the wrong reasons and working on that and having that self-control and taking control of your life. And then together with that, to transform it. Value, they said, through doing that, we're going to fulfill the whole purpose of creation. And what we're going to say here is a very powerful idea. Because the Frierdiker says in the Maimon, Never's going to even go deeper, but he says that through doing this, you bring down the Eretz Seva Kolmin. Now, just we'll preface this before we start, so it's a little clearer. So there's in general there's two types of light, and the way Chassidus, one of the ways Chassidus explains it is using a mashal of a teacher and the students. And through understanding this mashal, we're going to give it through understanding what does it mean to teacher and the students, and the relationship between teacher and the student. We can understand, not to the fullest extent, but a little bit of what it means teaching the students in a bigger context. Anyway, so the idea is we're going to explain the mashal. We have to understand what it means and recognize that this is me'ein. This is sort of like the relationship between us and Hashem, or Hashem's interaction with the world, but on an infinitely different scale. But this is just some way to understand, wrap our minds to the limited amount that we can. So you have a teacher and a student. So the teacher wants to teach the student. There's two general ways the teacher can teach. One of them is he looks at the student and he says, this kid is 5 years old. How much can he understand of, let's say, Yud Shvat? How much can I teach them? And based off that, I can go and I can explain to them and I can really tailor it so they can come home on Shabbos or on Yud Shvat and say, hey, Yud Shvat today. And the parents go, hey, what happened Yud Shvat? And the kid will tell them something. They'll have something to be able to take away. They can really a message they can learn. And that teacher could be a Baki in Chassidus, knows so much Chassidus, but what they're going to teach is very limited, of course, because otherwise, if they taught them, they'll come to learn the Maimer of this year's Bosi Lagani, Tafshin Chapes. It's a very deep Maimer. What are you going to explain to the kid? What is the kid going to get? He's not going to get anything. He's going to be totally lost. The teacher, so to speak, he limits it to the kalim, to the abilities of the students. Now, this would be related to the light of Mamalek Alman. How God interacts in the world in the way of filling the world with its keli. You have a vessel and the light tailored. You have a cup, and we pour the right amounts. And that's one way. The other way is Sevik Alman, as surrounds. Now, surrounds doesn't mean literally around. It means it permeates. It's not limited by the vessel. And so the example of the teacher and the students. You have a teacher, like we said before, he's taking this 5-year-old kid and realizing what they can learn, what they can understand, and teaches them. Then there's a deeper level where the teacher says, I'm just going to give it all. I'm giving everything. And the teacher comes, starts for bringing about these deep ideas that the Maimon talks about. And it's way above the capabilities of the student. So on one hand, what's better? They both have something good and something lacking. In the first instance, when he's tailoring to the kid, what do you have? The kid can come home and can talk to his family and tell them something that he learns. He has something to take home with him. Whereas when it comes in the level of the cervical, as the teacher teaches, just as he understands it, then the student doesn't have anything to take home with him. But on the other hand, when the teacher teaches it in a way that's tailored towards the student, the Mamalek Alman way, the kid is getting a very limited amount of information that he's not getting the whole package. Whereas in the case of the cervical almin, the kid doesn't get like what he can take home and understand is not everything, but he gets everything. And that's sort of what we're saying, that through our iskaf and sapra, we get the higher level, the one that the teacher gives everything. And that's what we're achieving. And then we're going to discuss what level that is and how does that work. Yeah, through having this iskaf and this sapra, we fulfill the intent of creation. That the intent was that Hashem should have its own place below. And it's a crazy idea to say. But what we're saying is that through having that self-control, you know what? When you come and say to yourself, I'm going to make sure to not eat that junk food. And I'm going to make sure to go to bed on time. And I'm going to make sure to daven in the morning. I'll make sure to wash nagavasa. Even though you don't want to do these things and you have that iskafia, the whole purpose of creation has been fulfilled. And this is that through the iskaf and this hapcha, through that iskaf and the transformation of it, you make it to one place below. That's Bosi Lagani. That's causing Hashem to come back down. You want to make Hashem feel at home? Is doing these things. That's called sort of cleaning up the house. So but it's not. This is a very important point. It's not that we go back to the same place where we were before. Meaning, in the beginning, Adam Rishon was here, and everything was good. And then Adam and Chava, they sinned, and suddenly they caused Istalek, Hikar, the Kutshabechu, and Hashem left. That's a problem, and Galmus leaves the world. And now what we're saying is that through us, now Iskafia and Isapcha, we bring Hashem back down to the same way it was before. So we're saying it's not the same way. It's on a deeper level. But if it wasn't, then what was the point? What did we gain from this whole process? So what we're saying is we're adding to a deeper level. Like for example, it's like you destroy a building to build another one. Now, of course, if you're destroying the building, you're not going to build the exact same building afterwards, and it's not any way better. What's the point? Then why did you destroy it? You have a building that works fine. I'm going to destroy it and build exactly the same building. What did you gain? Of course, there's something gained by it because you're doing it. It's better, it's bigger, it's more sturdy, whatever it is, but it's gained. And so too here. that through our iskaf we're achieving, bringing down a level of godliness even greater than what it was before the sin. It's obvious that it has to be on a greater level, the new building, than the previous one. Similarly, we have to say, we have to say that through our iskaf and hapcha, we're building a better building than what it was before. It's explained in the Maimer. What is that better building? Through the ishapcha, through the iskafia of the sitrachra, through the subduing of the sitrachra is talak yikar the kuchabrichu b'chul almin. Because, and this is what we're going to discuss a little bit, is talak yikar the kuchabrichu. Your cause to sort of spread out the main holiness of Hashem, glory of Hashem in all the worlds. In the Fidiker's Maimah, he explains, this is talking about a light of godliness that's in all worlds equally, which is, as we're going to explain, cervical amin. Now, he said, the Rebbe says like this. The Maimah says, and the Fidiker Rebbe says, this light that is spread out through this kafi and this hapcha is a light of cervical amin. Like we said, what it means, cervical amin, like the teacher teaching for himself as he understands it, or not tailored toward the kid, which is a much greater getting everything. But nevertheless, so now there's really a third level we're going to discuss. So in the cervical almin, we said it's like the teacher teaching to the students. He said, you know what? I'm going to give him everything. I don't care. What will he understand? Who cares? But I'm going to give him everything. But at the end of the day, there's still the teacher speaking to the students. And he's thinking about the student, whether he's giving him something that he can handle or not. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that the student is in the cheshbon, it's in the calculation of when he's teaching. But there's a deeper level, and that's the teacher teaching, learning for himself, not even teaching for the student. He's learning in the classroom. Let's say the kids are all doing chazar, and he's learning out loud, and he's learning a maimer for the first time or whatever it is, and it's chazar's maimer that he knows well, and he's learning it. He's not thinking about the students. The students can listen and they hear it and they get it, but it's not even in any way connected to them, which is a much deeper level when he's teaching in that way. But even when he's teaching for the kids, even though he's going to give them everything on a higher level, but there's still some relationship to what he's doing. He's connecting to them. But then there's a deeper level. It's all told for himself. It's like he has a chavrusa with someone on his level in the classroom. So we can't say that the light, when the Fidiker was saying cervical almin, he's saying can't be that cervical almin like the teacher teaching to the students on a high level. We're talking about a light that's so great, so high, so lofty. There's not even any relationship to worlds at all. Like the teacher learning with his chavrusa in front of the kids. Kids not even there, and that's where he learns the best. It's shmak and really gets the most, and the kids gain so much from that, but not necessarily in the typical sense. We have to appreciate that when we do the iskafia, when we have that self-control and we make those good choices, we're drawing down a level of godliness, like the example of the teacher teaching, learning it by himself in front of the students, not the level of. You can imagine. I'd be very happy if when I had that self-control, so the godliness, like the teacher teaching it for me, that I could gain something, even though it'd be a little bit, I'd be happy with that. I'd also be happy if he gave it to me in a way even higher than that, that he just gives it to me everything, give it to me straight, even though I don't understand everything. But what I'm achieving is even higher than that. He's learning it for himself, and I'm just being able to receive from that, because it goes everywhere. And that's what I'm achieving. That's what we're doing. That's what we are accomplishing. And that's why we call it istalik, because we're going to discuss what that means tomorrow, which istalik literally means like withdraw, but it sort of means spread out. And we're going to discuss more of that tomorrow, and as it connects to the Fidiker Rebbe, the istalkus, we always call it istalkus. Have a great day, everybody.